The first strike. The distant stars cast their ancient light across the observation deck of Research Station New Hope. Commander Sarah Chen stood with her hands pressed against the transparent aluminum window, watching the swirling nebula that had drawn humanity's attention to this remote corner of space. After 15 years of interstellar exploration, this station represented humanity's furthest reach into the cosmos. "Commander," called Lieutenant Marcus Thompson from his station, "we're detecting unusual quantum signatures approaching our position." Sarah turned from the window, her dark eyes narrowing. "Natural phenomenon." "Negative. The patterns are too regular. Whatever it is, it's artificial and moving directly toward us." The peaceful hum of the research station suddenly felt ominous. Sarah moved quickly to the command console, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Alert all sections. I want a full sensor sweep." Dr. James Park, the station's chief scientist, entered the command center just as the main display flickered to life. 3 massive vessels emerged from quantum space, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metallic sheen. Each ship dwarfed the human station, their design both beautiful and terrifying. "First contact protocol," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Open all communication channels." The largest alien vessel responded immediately. The view screen filled with the image of a being unlike anything humans had encountered. Tall and slender, with skin that seemed to shift between silver and blue, the creature possessed 4 arms and eyes that glowed with an inner light. "Primitive species," the alien spoke, its voice resonating through the station speakers. "I am Supramarch Kexful of the Galactic Hegemony. You have ventured beyond your designated sphere. This transgression cannot be permitted." Sarah stepped forward. "I am Commander Sarah Chen of Earth. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship among the stars." The alien's features contorted in what might have been amusement. "Peace is earned through submission. Your species will surrender all technology and accept hegemony rule. Compliance brings survival. Resistance brings extinction." The command center fell silent. Sarah exchanged glances with her crew, seeing her own determination reflected in their faces. Humanity had not survived countless wars and climbed from the gravity well of Earth to bow before the first bully they encountered. "The people of Earth value freedom above all else," Sarah replied. "We offer cooperation as equals, not subjugation as slaves." Supramarch Kexful's glow intensified. "Then you have chosen extinction. Your primitive station will serve as an example to your species." The communication cut off abruptly. Alarms began screaming throughout New Hope as the alien vessels powered up their weapons. Energy readings spiked beyond anything in human databases. "All hands, battle stations," Sarah commanded. "Activate Protocol Omega." The research station's peaceful facade melted away. Hidden weapon ports slid open, revealing banks of plasma cannons and missile launchers. What the hegemony didn't know was that every human installation carried military-grade defenses, a lesson learned from Earth's violent history. The first hegemony salvo struck New Hope's shields, sending tremors through the station. But the shields held, surprising everyone, including the humans. Dr. Park's modifications to alien technology scavenged from ancient ruins had paid off. "Return fire," Sarah ordered. Human weapons, crude by galactic standards but devastatingly effective, launched toward the alien fleet. Kinetic rounds accelerated to near-light speed punched through the first hegemony vessel's shields, leaving gaping holes in its pristine hull. On the bridge of his flagship, Supramarch Kexful watched in disbelief as the primitive station not only survived his attack, but fought back with unexpected ferocity. "Impossible," he muttered. "Their technology level shouldn't allow for such weapons." His tactical officer's tentacles writhed nervously. "Supramarch, their weapons are primitive but different. Our shields aren't calibrated for such direct kinetic attacks. Increase power to forward shields. Destroy that station." But humanity's surprises weren't finished. From the asteroid field surrounding the research station, dozens of small craft emerged. Mining shuttles converted into fighters, They swarmed the hegemony vessels like angry hornets. Lieutenant Thompson coordinated the attack from New Hope. Delta Wing, target their engine ports. Gamma Wing, keep those point defenses busy. The makeshift fighters dove and weaved through enemy fire, their human pilots demonstrating reflexes and creativity that confounded the hegemony's combat computers. Where alien tactics relied on predetermined patterns and superior firepower, humans improvised, adapted, and attacked from unexpected angles. Sarah watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The second hegemony vessel was venting atmosphere from multiple hull breaches. The third had lost main power and drifted helplessly. "Commander," called Communications Officer Lisa Wong. "I'm intercepting hegemony transmissions. They're calling for reinforcements." "Let them come," Sarah replied. "Thompson, signal the Earth Force vessels hiding in the nebula. It's time to show these bullies what happens when they threaten humanity." From the swirling gases of the nearby nebula, Earth's true military might emerge. The battlecruiser Resilience led a task force of destroyers and frigates, all bristling with weapons designed specifically to counter energy-based shields. Admiral Rebecca Martinez commanded the Resilience with the same iron will that had seen her through the Mars Rebellion. "All ships, engage at will. Show no mercy to those who threaten our people." The hegemony flagship found itself caught between the station's defenses and the arriving Earth fleet. Energy weapons and kinetic rounds filled space with deadly light. The alien vessel's shields flickered and died under the concentrated assault. Supermarch Kexville stared at his tactical display in growing horror. His invincible fleet was being torn apart by a species that had barely achieved interstellar travel. "This is impossible. We are the hegemony. We have ruled this sector for 10,000 years. His second-in-command gestured frantically. "Supermarch, we must retreat. Our ships cannot withstand their weapons." "Never. Activate the planet killer weapon. If we cannot have this system, neither shall they." But before the order could be executed, the Resilience's main gun spoke. A hypervelocity projectile, little more than a shaped tungsten rod, punched through the flagship's armor and detonated its antimatter core. The explosion lit up space like a miniature sun. When the light faded, only debris remained of the once mighty hegemony vessel. The two surviving alien ships immediately began emergency quantum jumps, fleeing back to hegemony space. The human fleet let them go. Their escape would serve a purpose. Admiral Martinez's voice crackled over the comm. "Well done, Commander Chen. Your station's defense bought us the time we needed." Sarah slumped in her command chair, exhaustion finally catching up with her. "Thank you, Admiral. But this is just the beginning, isn't it?" "Indeed, the hegemony will return with a proper invasion fleet. But now, they know we're not easy prey." In the aftermath of the battle, Sarah stood once again at the observation window. The debris field that had been a hegemony fleet drifted silently past. Dr. Park joined her. "You realize what we've done? We've just declared war on a galactic empire." Sarah nodded slowly. "No, James. They declared war on us. We simply showed them that humanity doesn't back down from bullies, no matter how big they are. They'll come back with everything they have. Let them come. Earth has been preparing for this day since we first reached the stars. The hegemony made one crucial mistake." "What's that?" Sarah's reflection in the window smiled grimly. "They assumed we were prey. They're about to learn that humans are the apex predators of our world. And now we're taking that status to the stars." As the human fleet secured the system and began salvaging hegemony technology, word of the battle raced back to Earth. Humanity's peaceful exploration of the galaxy had ended, but their fight for freedom among the stars had just begun. The message was clear. Earth would not kneel to alien overlords. The hegemony had awakened a sleeping giant, and the galaxy would never be the same. The final warning. 3 months after the Battle of New Hope, Earth's defensive preparations reached a fever pitch. The planet's orbital shipyards worked around the clock, producing warships that incorporated reverse-engineered hegemony technology with humanity's own innovations. Deep beneath Cheyenne Mountain, General David Kim stood before the World Defense Council. The holographic display showed the latest intelligence from their spy probes scattered throughout nearby systems. "The hegemony is mobilizing," Kim reported. Conservative estimates put their incoming fleet at over 500 vessels. "They're not taking chances this time." President Elena Rodriguez leaned forward. "How long do we have?" 6 weeks, maybe less. Their quantum drives are faster than ours. Defense Minister Rajesh Patel spoke up. "What about Project Prometheus?" Kim's expression grew grim. "Dr. Mitchell says it's ready, but we've never tested it. Using it would be final." Rodriguez nodded slowly. "Keep it as our last resort. What about our new allies?" The display shifted to show encrypted communications from 7 different alien species. Kim highlighted each in turn. "The hegemony's iron fist has created many enemies over the millennia. The Vorthan, the Kelthani, even the ancient Zephyr have reached out. They're too afraid to fight openly, but they're sharing intelligence and technology." "Any military support?" asked Patel. "Not yet. They're waiting to see if we can actually hurt the hegemony. If we bloody their nose again, that might change." In the asteroid belt, Captain Maria Vasquez commanded the stealth destroyer Ghost. Her ship was part of humanity's deep space early warning network, positioned to detect the hegemony's approach. "Contact," her sensor officer called out. "Multiple quantum signatures bearing 127 Mark IV. Maria studied her displays. "It's them. Signal Earth. The hegemony is here." The alien armada emerged from quantum space like a storm of metal and energy. 512 warships arranged in perfect formation, led by a dreadnought that dwarfed anything humanity had built. On the dreadnought's bridge, War Master Zextor studied the human system. Unlike Supermarch Kexval, Zextor had spent centuries crushing rebellious species. He would not underestimate these humans. "Deploy the fleet in constellation formation," he ordered. "Begin systematic destruction of all human installations. Leave their homeworld for last. Let them watch their colonies burn." But humanity had learned from the first encounter. As the hegemony fleet advanced, they found empty space where human colonies should have been. Earth's outer settlements had been evacuated, their populations hidden in underground bunkers on remote moons. "War Master," reported his intelligence officer, "we're detecting artificial quantum fields throughout the system. The humans have mined space itself." Zextor's scales rippled with amusement. "Clever, but futile. Activate our quantum dampeners and proceed." The hegemony fleet pressed forward, their advanced technology neutralizing humanity's quantum mines. But this was exactly what Earth's strategists had planned. Admiral Martinez commanded Earth's fleet from the super dreadnought Defiance. "They've taken the bait. All ships, execute planned thermopila." Earth's fleet, outnumbered 5-1, didn't meet the hegemony in open battle. Instead, they used the solar system's geography to their advantage. Ships hidden in the rings of Saturn launched hit-and-run attacks. Automated weapons platforms in the asteroid belt fired and relocated before counterattacks could arrive. The hegemony found themselves fighting shadows. Every time they brought their superior firepower to bear, the human ships vanished into carefully prepared hiding spots. War Master Zextor's patience wore thin. "Enough of these games. All ships, converge on Earth. Burn their homeworld, and their fleet will have to defend it." As the massive alien fleet approached Earth, humanity played its next card. The planet's moon suddenly revealed its secret. What the hegemony had assumed was a barren satellite was actually humanity's largest fortress. Massive gun emplacements emerged from hidden silos. The Luna defense grid, built in secret over decades, opened fire with weapons that made the hegemony's technology look primitive in comparison. Particle beam weapons, developed from theoretical physics that humanity had pursued while other species relied on conventional energy weapons, sliced through hegemony shields like paper. Mass drivers launched projectiles at significant fractions of light speed, their impacts devastating against alien armor. Impossible. Zextor roared as his fleet took catastrophic damage. Their technology level doesn't support such weapons. His science officer's tendrils trembled. War Master, these weapons operate on principles we abandoned as impractical millennia ago. The power requirements alone should be impossible for their technology level. Unless, Zextor realized with growing horror, they found a different path. A more violent, desperate path. Earth's fleet emerged from hiding, pressing their advantage. Humanity's ships were smaller, less advanced in many ways, but they fought with a ferocity that shocked the hegemony. Where alien commanders followed doctrine, human captains improvised. Where hegemony weapons focused on elegant energy manipulation, human weapons relied on brutal kinetic force and exotic particle physics. Captain Vasquez led her destroyer squadron in a desperate charge against a hegemony battleship. Target their command section. All weapons, fire. The Ghost and her sister ships unleashed everything they had. Nuclear-pumped lasers, relativistic kill vehicles, and experimental quantum torpedoes struck the alien vessel. The battleship's shields collapsed, and secondary explosions tore through its hull. But the hegemony's numbers were telling. For every ship they lost, they destroyed 2 human vessels. Earth's fleet was being pushed back, the defensive grid on Luna taking increasing damage. War Master Zextor sensed victory. Press the attack. Their homeworld will burn as a lesson to all who would defy the hegemony. In Earth's command center, President Rodriguez faced the moment she had dreaded. The cost of victory would be astronomical, but the price of defeat was unthinkable. General Kim, she said quietly. Activate Project Prometheus. Kim nodded solemnly and entered his authorization codes. Deep in Earth's Arctic ice, humanity's most terrible weapon came online. Dr. Sarah Mitchell had spent her career studying exotic matter and quantum mechanics. Her research had led to something that should have been impossible, a weapon that could destabilize space-time itself. As the device powered up, she watched the readings with a mixture of pride and horror. God forgive us, she whispered. In space, the hegemony fleet prepared for their final assault on Earth. Then something impossible happened. Space itself began to warp and twist around their ships. Quantum fields collapsed. The fundamental forces that held matter together began to fluctuate wildly. War Master Zextor stared in horror as his dreadnought's hull began to dissolve. What is this? What have they done? His science officer's voice was barely a whisper. They've weaponized the quantum vacuum itself. They're unraveling the fabric of space-time. The effect spread through the hegemony fleet like a plague. Ships simply ceased to exist, their atoms scattered across quantum dimensions. In minutes, the mighty armada was reduced to a handful of vessels at the edge of the effect. On Earth, Dr. Mitchell watched the readings with grim satisfaction. Shutting down the device. The field is collapsing. Space returned to normal, but the damage was done. Where once a fleet of hundreds had threatened Earth, now only debris remained. The few surviving hegemony ships fled in terror. Admiral Martinez's voice was heavy as she reported to Earth Command. The enemy fleet is destroyed. Prometheus worked as designed. The victory was complete, but the implications were staggering. Humanity had just demonstrated a weapon that could destroy fleets, possibly entire star systems. The galaxy would never look at the young species the same way again. War Master Zextor's damaged ship limped back to hegemony space. His report to the Supreme Council was brief. The humans possess a weapon beyond our understanding. They could destroy us all. Within days, representatives from dozens of species arrived at Earth. The Vorthan, the Kelthani, and others who had lived under hegemony rule for millennia now saw humanity as their salvation. But Earth's leaders were wiser now. In the rebuilt conference room of New Hope Station, President Rodriguez addressed the gathered aliens. "We don't seek to replace one tyranny with another," she said. "The weapon we used will be sealed away, used only if our survival is threatened. We offer partnership, not dominion. The Hegemony's Supreme Council sent their own message, a formal treaty recognizing Earth's sovereignty and borders. The implicit threat of the Prometheus device had accomplished what centuries of warfare couldn't. It had brought peace. Commander Sarah Chen, promoted after her heroic defense of New Hope, stood once again at her station's observation deck. The stars looked different now. They no longer seemed cold and distant, but full of possibilities. General Kim joined her. Any regrets? Sarah considered the question. We showed the galaxy that humanity won't be pushed around, but we also showed we have the wisdom not to abuse our power. That's the real victory. Think they'll test us again? Probably, but they'll remember what happened here. Earth's message is clear. We come in peace, but if you attack us, you'll face annihilation. Sarah smiled slightly. Sometimes the best deterrent is showing you have the biggest stick, but choosing not to use it. As news of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy, a new order began to emerge. The Hegemony's iron grip loosened. Oppressed species found courage in Earth's example, and at the center of it all stood humanity, young, brash, and unexpectedly powerful. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humans preferred peace, they cherished freedom, and they possessed the will and means to defend both. Earth had issued its warning, and the stars themselves had witnessed the consequence of ignoring it. A new age had dawned, with humanity not as conquerors, but as guardians of a more just galactic order. The warning would echo through the ages. Attack Earth again and face annihilation. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the galaxy knew peace born not from oppression, but from respect. Retroclaude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.